Alrighty. Welcome back to the Absolute Arsenal podcast. As always, PJ Davidson, Rob Steinhauser, Christian Escalera. Good to be here, boys.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? Good weekend.
Great weekend.
It was a very good weekend. Could have gotten a little help on the other results, but Arsenal-wise, we were in the Super Bowl fever, put up a sixer, so not bad.
Yeah, it was a good day for me. Arsenal win, then I swapped in my Kelsey jersey, and the Chiefs got a W. It's a red Sunday, baby.
Very red Sunday. You and Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're here to recap Arsenal 6, West Ham absolutely fucking nothing, which I think is a pretty apt way to put what West Ham brought to the match. It's probably generous. So pregame, real quick, let's jump into that. So I think the whole, I don't think anybody was expecting the number of injuries that there were. Tommy, I think we expected him to be there, but comes back with a niggle, I guess. Okay, fine. Jesus, I think we were kind of like, oh, he'll be back by now. Nope, he's not back either. Zinchenko, obviously, the day ends in a Y, so he's injured. And then ESR, just the king of bad luck, apparently turned his ankle in training, which is a bummer because I know I wanted him at the left 8, if I recall. I think we all pretty much wanted him at the left 8. So would have been a great game for it, but at the same time, I really, really enjoyed the interplay and sort of the relationship, I guess you could call it, between Havertz and Leo Trossard. And I think we'll definitely talk more about that as we go on. And then Jorginho was on the bench, but from what it sounds like, it was like he's not fit to play. He didn't train all week. It's like if all hell breaks loose and we literally, it's 10 men or Jorginho plays and can't move much, it sounds like that's kind of where he was at. So kind of a bummer, but got a chance to see Kivior at left back, hopefully continue his good form, which I thought, despite an early, shaky start from him, he settled in pretty well, did a good job. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have too many other notes from the starting lineup other than clearly Arteta has been listening to the podcast and me continually begging to put Trossard back at the 9, and 6-0. I think it's hard to say that it didn't work. So
yeah, he played phenomenal.
Yeah, he was really good. But so jumping, right into the game. So early on, we dominated possession and nothing was really coming of it. If I recall, Rob, you were very worried. I think the quote was, "We're going to lose this 2-0." And Christian and I were very much like, dude, stop.
It felt like one of those games we were just going to control, and then I just could see Jared Bowen or Kudus just counterattack goal.
It would be very Arsenal if we did.
The good thing, it was like a back and forth. Like it wasn't really like us attacking and they sitting back. Like it was just like every team had their moments until like we scored the first one, which was pretty good. Then after that, I think it was just like a one-sided game.
I think that favors us too. If we know we struggle against teams that sit back in that low block, but if teams like want to play actual football, we dominate. If you look, like I'm gonna step back quick. The Liverpool game, Liverpool wanted to play football, and then if you think back at that Brighton game, we whooped them 3-0. Like they want to play football, and like that's what we do against teams that want to play football.
And now you understand why every single team has realized, hey, maybe we shouldn't try to play Arsenal because they're going to kick the living shit out of us. Yeah. And that's what we did all last year. And, I think a lot of this season, that's where a lot of the frustration stemmed, is we were all expecting the same kind of open, dare I say, swashbuckling football that was Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. But you can't play that when you have 11 guys behind the ball pretty much at all times, let alone, against Nottingham Forest when they literally had their entire back line and midfield and wingers essentially all the way back, and the striker I mean, it was just that was the lowest block. I think statistically they said based on like the zone, like the heat maps, it was the lowest block that's been played in the Premier League, like basically ever. So, I mean, that's what we're contending with. And West Ham, they must have been confident after beating us twice and thought, hey, we can play with these guys. And they pretty quickly found out, no, we cannot
you can't,
play with this
bitch.
Guys.
Dude,
Saka's
it was Arteta 40 chess. Arteta 40 chess. Like we don't care about the cup. Like just the FA Cup. We've won 14 of them. Let's let West Ham get confident and we can whoop them 6-0. You know, and that's just Arteta's 40 chess, baby.
Was it? Was his plan to lose 2-0 at home?
Yeah.
That's it.
Brutal. I mean, the West Ham match again, that was the one where we had like 30 freaking shots, couldn't score a goal. I mean, that was like the epitome of what was going wrong. I will say, I don't think we had that many really good chances despite having all those shots in the reverse fixture. But yeah, I mean, it was really good. The only thing I think early on, Kiwior had that moment where he sat on the ball too long, got robbed, and we got bailed out. I mean, the rest of the defense bailed him out. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but Gabriel was like really, really like ordering him around early on, like pointing a lot, like, no, you go here, move further up, come further back, go central. Like, and I thought it was just a really encapsulating moment after in the week, like they talked about, or he talked about, and Arteta talked about the early season, saga, if you want to call it that. That's probably too aggressive of a word, with the Saudis coming in for him and his head being turned, because whose head wouldn't be turned with that kind of money, and then being benched. Obviously, Arteta said it was tactical. We all knew that it wasn't tactical. It was just like, get your head right and be a part of the squad. And once I see that, you're back in. And, he's looked like a leader big time lately. We've talked a lot about him ordering people around and, really trying to jumpstart the offense the way he was looking for Martinelli, the way he's moving Kiwior around. Like, just, I mean, he's earning every accolade that he's getting lately with the Arsenal Player of the Month, getting nominated for PL Player of the Month. I mean, it's really awesome to see him just blossom and mature, and you don't see all those hot-headed moments, and the mistakes at the back are less and less. He's still going to have them from time to time. Every defender will, as we saw with Saliba against Liverpool. But yeah,
very rarely
over
compared to what it was before.
Yeah,
like he's been very calm. He doesn't get like into heated arguments with the other players in the opposition team. Like, I think it's maybe the couple games that he spent on the bench kind of actually help him mentally be a little stronger.
He's also like another guy too. I remember when Aubameyang was cast out, like his name was being thrown around as captain. Like if if Gabriel like wears the captain's armband, like I wouldn't be surprised. He's a natural leader. Like you said, he shouts orders around. So like that's just such a good thing when you have 4 or 5 guys in your team that they wore the captain's armband. Like we would be okay with.
Yeah, I think part of it also is you talk about these guys are people, outside of being footballers, elite footballers. I don't think he knew a lick of English when he got here.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's learned a lot more English compared to before, and that's got to be hugely, hugely helpful. I mean, again, he played in France. He's next to a French guy, so naturally, that's going to be okay if he did it, at Lille and whatnot. But it was good. I mean, I was just really happy to see it. And then Kiwior again, he had, I think the one good chance West Ham really had was when they whipped that really, really good cross in to Kudus, and Kiwior cut it out just like expertly. Where you could see his center backness kind of show. But the one where he, got in and blocked it out for a corner, it was so calm. It was good to see him like continuing to settle in and really look like a part of the squad. So happy to see it.
He looked comfortable. I think mainly he didn't really go up that much. He was more like a sitting back left, like the left back. Yeah, and that kind of helped him a little bit because obviously he suffers with the pace when he's like caught up there in the attacking third. But I think he did pretty good.
Do you think
very good.
If Zinchenko's healthy for next match that he just walks in at that left back spot?
I think
Would you
so.
keep
Just
Kiowa there?
because the way the Arteta wants to play, I think
Yeah.
he's just gonna walk in.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a knock on Kiwior at all. I mean, he's not left
Yeah.
back, right? But
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but and it didn't happen a lot, but Ben White tucked in to midfield like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
and
he
Kiwior
did.
stayed back.
Dude, he's so versatile, man. Like, love Ben White. Probably the most underrated player on our team.
I mean, it's hard because the body language doesn't always match the output, and I don't think that helps him.
He's
but
even said it. He doesn't care about football. He's like, all right, I'll play.
Yeah.
I'm good at it.
Yeah, so it was again really good to see. So let's talk about Leandro Trossard and Kai Havertz.
Yeah, and I apologize to any listeners. If you hear squeaking sounds, that's my dog playing with his toy. Deal with it. I mean, I think Havertz played a typical decent Havertz game. I have no complaints about what he does. I still think his ability to get forward opens up space in the box. But I will say this is the best I've maybe seen Trossard play for us, at least this season. And the thing that I was most impressed with is he was doing the Gabriel Jesus thing where he comes in the midfield, receives the ball, and he just played some insane passes. One to Martinelli, obviously the one that went to Saka where we scored. I mean, he just did it all, man. Very impressed with him.
Yeah, I thought the interchanging was really, really cool. The way that Havertz dropped back, and it was just the whole thing was just impressive. The way that they just interchanged constantly was so fluid. They both contributed really, really well, and it was nice to see. Thanks, Ernie.
Arsenal.
If he's gonna squeak and make noises all podcast, at least it's his Arsenal bone.
Trossard was definitely playing the same role that Gabriel Jesus plays. I think he's a little more gifted on that vision and long ball. Jesus grabs the ball in that same position.
Turns
he just
and
tries
goes.
to be beat everyone and get to the goal. Yeah. This guy, opens up, looks up, and as soon as he sees someone, he just
We want to talk about that line drive ball he played to Martinelli. That was insane.
Yeah. Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. I mean,
just Gabriel Jesus doesn't do that. He just grabs it and tries to do.
I don't
something
think
else.
you can possibly take Trossard out the team if Jesus is healthy. I don't think you can do it right now.
I wouldn't. Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I mean, this goes back to the debate that we had the couple questions. What was it last week, 2 weeks ago about what is Leo Trossard's role, and we all kind of said like, yeah, he's a bench guy, but he's definitely good enough to start. And if he's in form and there's an opportunity that, whether it's an injury or, someone's out of form or whatever it is, if he performs and no one's just taking him out of the team, he was signed to push guys. He's not guaranteed a starting role, but you can absolutely earn a role. And you can tell it's one of those things with Arteta where it's like, Reece Nelson can play out of his mind. He's never going to start a match of significance. Arteta just won't do it. But Leo Trossard will if he plays well enough.
And with our injury record, he's going to get so many starts anyway. So it's like the perfect place for him.
Yeah.
It's like in this form that he is right now, he shouldn't be benched, even if Gabriel comes back.
I think we're all in agreement there.
But here's the thing. I think that it's hard to say based on the way they played off each other and interchanged and swapped and everything else. It's hard for me to say. Like, I almost feel like him and Havertz after that performance are kind of attached.
Or we get our other dream and we bench Havertz and put Jesus at that left 8 position.
I mean,
and just see how that goes.
That'd be awesome, but it'll never happen.
That would be good.
That's the unfortunate reality is, if Jesus isn't playing striker, he'll play off the left.
And man, too, like if Trossard has that 9 lockdown and Jesus is on the bench, the great thing about Jesus is like you can give Martinelli a rest, you can give Saka a rest, you can come on and play either one of those wingers.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's going to be interesting. The next starting lineup, dude, it's going to be interesting because if everyone is back fit, if Jesus is back fit, if ESR is back fit, if Zinchenko's back fit, if Tomiyasu's available, like I have no idea what the starting lineup's going to be.
Yeah, here's the other thing is like we're about to play Burnley, right? And we'll get into Burnley lineups.
It's a
On
game
one
to
hand,
rotate.
on the other, like the thing that worries me about Burnley, and maybe it's just like all the Sean Dyche teams, like coming back, and obviously Vincent Kompany being there now, like a center back, like they're parking the bus against us,
Yeah.
like hard. So on one hand, like, and the thing that Havertz does really well, and we've always said it, is like his movement off the ball, pulling guys out of position, and all of that. Like, there's no doubt he is like very good, bordering on elite when it comes to that side of the game. But when a bus is parked that deep, and if they're playing zonally and everything else, like I get you can overload a zone and that creates problems, but like just how much can you do against a deep block like that? So like that's the one element that's a little tough to judge from this match and then putting it to a deep block, because I don't know if it goes the same way.
I don't see them as a deep block as a Forest game. I think these guys actually try to like play. They're gonna maybe not like head like toe to toe. They're not gonna fist fight us, but they're gonna try to like do something, and that's when we have to like take advantage in the early minutes, so we can probably give some rest to the guys for the
Raya is gonna be huge
match, because we're gonna have a bunch of games.
Thank God we're getting players back.
The next Champions League is the next Champions League game is in March. 12.
No, that's gonna be
so. It's like within another week or 2 weeks is gonna be another mid game.
Totally.
Mid-game.
I mean,
so hopefully
you gotta hope Partey's back by then. I mean, Tomi's ready to rock. Zinchenko's ready to rock. Jesus is ready to rock. Smith Rowe, like, yeah. I mean, we can't be so thin because that's what killed us last year.
If Partey is back in form for that game against City, I'm confident we're gonna go to the empty hat.
Me too.
We're gonna beat them.
Yeah, totally agree. So back into the flow of the game. I mean, again, like Leo's playing crazy balls. Like we're nearly finishing a bunch of chances. We keep coming close. And then first goal comes 32nd minute. Saliba, of course, Declan Rice, unbelievable corners. I mean, he literally assisted 2 of them off of corners. It makes no sense that he's the corner taker, but when you're that good at it, I mean, again, it's just unbelievable when you have guys like Saliba and Gabriel. So, I mean, Saliba gets the goal. I don't think there's a whole lot to say about it. It's a set piece. It's another one. Nicholas Jover, 10 out of 10 again on the rating scale.
You got 2 goals today.
Crazy.
Or yesterday.
So, and then for 38th minute, Saka gets brought down again. I know they changed the rule to like a yellow and a pen. Like you don't do a red and a pen, but I think if you don't make a play for the ball and everything else, I think you still can do a red and a pen. That was I was saying to you guys, like, I thought that was really borderline. I thought he totally if he was sent off and we got the pen, I don't think there could have been too much argument. But whatever, it's fine. He didn't get sent off.
I think what saved them was the center back sprinting to make the line before he touched Saka. He literally sprinted to be on that, line, goalkeeper line, to not be the last, last man standing, and it was a yellow. But if the defender wasn't,
Zuma was further forward kicking a bunch of cats. So, yeah. So once he got done kicking the cats, he ran back. But I don't know what they took so long on the review. I mean, it's pretty clear who was. I think was it Fornals or whoever on the backside who easily kept him on, and then a big redemption arc moment for Saka after missing the crucial penalty last year. I mean, that West Ham game was like one of the biggest nails in the coffin for our title hope. So to see him, but like here's the thing with Bukayo Saka, he's immediately taking the ball and being like, no, I'm writing this wrong, which is just one of the greatest things about him. Among all the amazing things about him, as Luke Shaw said in that Sky interview that Christian sent over, whether like who's your favorite guy that you look forward to seeing in the England squad,
Such a
and
lovable
he
guy.
like just no hesitation immediately just was like, Saka, I love him, he's the best person ever.
Dude, the energy he gives off is insane. I want to be friends with him. I want to hug him.
Yeah, he's
not as much as I want to hug Arteta, but I want to hug Bukayo.
Yeah, no, I figured as much. Yeah, I'm sure it's all you want to do. Anyways, so yeah, after 3 long minutes, Saka finally got to convert the pen. So pretty cool. And then okay, cool. It's almost half. Nope. 2 minutes later, win another corner. Rice, Gabriel, goal again. And then you think, okay, fine, 3-0. It's almost half. Nope. Leo Trossard from Odegaard, goal.
Boom.
So 45 plus 2. It's 4-0 after being 0-0 up until the 32nd, 1-0 until the 41st, and then we scored the 41st, the 43rd, and the 45 plus 2 to go into the half. So that was fun.
It was fun watching all the West Ham fans leave.
I want to ask
that was
this
so
question.
good. You saw them. Whoever made that
mass
image.
Exodus.
Did you see the image they made of Odegaard with the camera?
Yeah,
like
of
it was so
Odegaard
good.
taking a picture.
Okay.
Wait, I want to ask this question. Do you think that Gabriel Jesus would have done the same thing that Odegaard did, Trossard did on his goal and scored, or he would have tried?
Maybe he would have took an extra touch.
Because I think what Leo did it so fucking good. 2-touch, controlled.
He's just such a tidy player.
Score.
He's a better finisher than Jesus. We all know that.
I don't see.
I mean, a lot of people are better finishers than Gabriel Jesus. Unfortunately, I would take a lot of guys as finishers before him. I mean, same thing like Aubameyang. Like Aubameyang was like he'd get 1 billion chances. I mean, his movement was so good, and he'd get 1 billion chances. He missed. Same like I think like the epitome of that was Edinson Cavani. I think Cavani is the king of chances. Like great chances, and he scores so many, but he misses so many tap-ins. But he creates so many. I mean, him and Aubameyang were very similar.
Now we have Nunez for that.
He has now we have Nunez. Yeah, it's like let me miss with an empty net, but then scored a fucking banger from outside of the box.
Absolutely no sense. But that halftime talk must have been interesting. Come out the second half, pretty much just continued to dominate. I mean, West Ham just never looked like they were in the game. Like even when they had the ball, they did nothing with it.
I think the first 15 minutes were the only like
they were, but we still
had
like 90% possession.
Yeah,
we were still better, but I think they were trying to attack a little bit after a couple, like let's say 20 minutes, they were just not.
They gave up. Like you could tell, they just gave up.
They were in the tennis equivalent of dead court, if that makes sense.
No, not to me.
So I know very little about tennis, but dead court's like the area of the court where it's like you should never be living there. Like you're not, in the back ready to return stuff. You're not up front trying to patrol the net. Like you're just in like no man's land, and that's what West Ham were. Because when you were down, you're down 4-0, and you have to score goals to have any chance. But at the same time, you don't want to get completely embarrassed, so you're just caught between. Do I stay back? Do I go up? And it was just the dead court, fiasco, which, 63rd minute, I mean, so easy the way Odegaard plays in Saka. And, Mavropanos, man. I mean, like, on one hand, it's like, you're ex-Arsenal. We don't totally hate you, although you did score against us last time. But nonetheless, I mean, the way Saka did him so easily, just literally, kind of like a shoulder feint to the right, drop the left shoulder, and bang, automatic goal, 5-0.
Near post.
Yeah,
That's
ridiculous.
Because Areola was already going for the second.
They had that like zoom in on David Moyes, and I'm like, is this dude gonna cry? And I felt so bad for him.
Dude, it's just karma. They were running their
Yeah.
fucking mouth for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like when they beat us 2-0, I can't tell you how many freaking fucking posts I saw saying like, "Oh, you guys took Declan Rice for 100 million and we bought Edson Alvarez." Like, dude, really?
I mean, you're
Guy just
talking to a
got
bunch of
baked.
Americans.
Like,
We know
he
what
got
Edson
bullied
Alvarez is.
for 60 minutes. He got bullied until he was like, "All right, until you're out." I didn't think he came out on the second half.
I don't think he did. Zuma didn't either.
I don't.
Yeah, he
think
gave
they were
up
like,
4
"Yo,
goals.
sit
Sit
down.
the fuck down.
You
Keep
got
running-
your
keep
appearance
running
fee.
your
Just
mouth.
just get me out of there. Yeah.
Keep running your mouth."
So we go up
Yeah.
5-0, and you think it's over, and then Ben White gets to the byline, cuts it back. I mean, super impressive. The ball was perfect for both Leo and Odegaard, and they both were like, "No, please, you." And then
Yeah.
Rice just had that. You saw, like, he wasn't expecting it all. He was totally like kind of like just watching, like waiting for one of them to hit it, and then he goes, "Oh shit!" Takes like 3 big steps and just boom. And last kick of the game after losing twice to your former club, having a bunch of these fucking worthless fucks booing you. And yeah, I mean,
And then he's a classy guy, and he still didn't celebrate.
He still didn't
good on
celebrate,
him.
yeah. And applauded as he was coming out. He got some.
Yeah, you're always gonna have
people
assholes,
clapping
dude.
for him, but
Yeah,
got a lot of boost.
I
too.
get
Yeah.
it. I still think it's trash, but I get it. I mean,
And
like,
Van Persie comes back to Emirates. I'm cheering for him. You guys are booing
I
him.
don't really get it.
stop. Yeah, you literally.
He'll be the
but no,
only
but like
one.
if Thierry Henry came back with like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be different if he went to an English club, but like, I don't think under any circumstances we could boo him. Like, he's there, Thierry Henry, for all facts and purposes.
Yeah, but if we sold Henry in his prime to, like, I don't know, you think he would break? He'd break so many
dude,
hearts,
I don't
man.
think the
Like
problem-
it would be
That's fair.
tough.
I don't think. I mean, Henry was not at his prime, but he was
Yeah.
still there. He
Yeah.
went to Barcelona. He's killed it. But I don't think Van Persie's issue was leaving. His issue was running his mouth.
Trying to
he
blame the entire club and
Like,
try to
leave.
kill the fan base. Yeah.
Leave if you want. Yeah, leave if you want. It's okay, but not fucking run your mouth.
Anyway, let's
asshole.
move on from my boy.
You could have had a fucking statue. No, statue outside of the Emirates.
All for nothing.
Decided to be a rat.
I mean, in terms of the rest of the game, it was just more of the same. I mean, there really wasn't much to see. I think the only thing that we need to touch on, two things that we got to need to touch on. First one is Ethan Nwaneri, 16 years old until March when he turned 17. But until then, he's 16 because that's how it works.
The future.
But yeah, I mean, he looked like he belonged.
Yeah, confident.
I mean,
Dude, he got that Messi like style of play, like low gravity,
you know who he looked.
strong. He gets bumped.
You know
and
who
just
he
stays.
reminded me of coming on as a 16-year-old, left-footed, low center of gravity. Jack
Robin Van
Wilshere.
Persie.
With Chef.
Jack Wilshere. Shut
Jack
the fuck
Wilshere.
up, Rob. Jack Wilshere. Literally.
I'd rather have him be a Messi than a Jack Wilshere.
Well, no
Yeah.
shit, but like, I'm just saying, like, left-footed, low center of gravity, like, the thing that killed Wilshere's career because he was so
Injuries.
good at it was, well, yes, but I'm saying because he was so good at holding on to the ball until the very, very last second when the defender would dive in. But that's what did his ankles, and then the rest of his body tried to overcompensate. But the point being is Ethan Nwaneri did the same thing, but with he looks actually pacey. Like, Wilshere was quick, but he wasn't pacey. He looked good the way that like Odegaard was really looking for him, and that one time where he just kind of like put his foot on the ball and rolled it to Nwaneri and was like, "Go for it, dude. This is your time." Like, that was so
Yeah.
cool.
He seemed like the whole team was trying to get him.
Well, they were
involved
whispering
to,
on the
like,
bench to put him in the game.
go.
Meanwhile, Roy Walters is sitting there like, "You're not whispering for me."
Your time will come, son.
That's going to be the next thing I come to, but I want to get through
Cedric
Ethan first.
got minutes.
Oh, I know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, but no, we're not. Well, yes, but we'll get there. The other thing with Ethan Nwaneri though is like, I think Odegaard, like that moment where he like, really looked to give him the ball and was like, hey, this is your moment. Go do your thing. I'll sit back. I think like the other guys were like actually looking for him. I mean, clearly he's probably always in first team training. I doubt he really ever trains with the U21s or whatever you want to call it, the reserves. But like they were like genuinely looking for him, and he was creating things, and like he created at least one good chance. I mean,
what is his actual position?
He actually plays.
Is it like
he plays more like I think
midfield?
strikery, like attack, like a forwardy kind of role for the reserves. But
that's what I've seen on the U.
I don't really know enough. I mean, I don't watch enough reserve games. I've seen him play countless times for the reserves, in patches, but I don't watch enough like full games and read like George Bird's recaps and stuff enough to really know where his position would be at this level. So it's hard for me to say. I mean,
for us was kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah,
on
he was
Sunday,
kind of in the Odegaard role, really.
Yeah,
was,
dude,
like,
just
in the middle.
let him roam. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
So. Which is exciting, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you're in the Odegaard role and Odegaard is young and here for a long time, then maybe he's not going to be in the Odegaard role. But I mean, we all know how much Arteta loves versatility. So
yeah.
But the opposite of versatility, coming to our next subject, is Cedric.
Yes.
Coming on. Yeah, exactly. Right?
Who?
So, and here's the thing. So, on the day, I was pissed. I think a lot of people were pissed that you have Rule Walters sitting on the bench, young, one for the future, but like very close, supposedly. We just sold Sousa to Villa, so it's not Sousa and Walters anymore, just Walters. And I was really, really pissed because Cedric clearly is done at the end of this year. Like, his contract's done. He's obviously gone. Rule Walters is a young kid with, a lot of potential and all that. So I think most people were annoyed about that, which it's pretty hard to be annoyed when you're up 6-0. But I think like you're like, what are you doing, dude? Like you're up 6-0. Like what's the difference if they score or not?
Arsenal fans, we find a way to be annoyed.
That was the moment. That was the moment to put him. I don't think he would have I mean,
there's no better
maybe another
moment.
5-0, 6-0.
When we're up 5-0 in City, he's going to play.
Now we're cooking. So here's the thing. I actually,
halftime.
Since reading more since then, listening to the Arscast and Arsenal Vision and all the usuals, it sounds like Walter's deal expires at the end of the year. So he may not actually be one for the future for us, which is not something that I ever really understood or considered. I'm sure that was part of the Sousa deal too, but supposedly Walters' deal's up at the end of the year, and he's not looking like it's going to renew right now. So at the same time, and here's the other piece. If he's gone at the end of the year, and Cedric's gone at the end of the year, and let's say, the defending depth chart is down to it, who are you going to put in at right back if you have to play Manchester City and this game is going to decide the league? Are you going to play Cedric, who's played many years in the Premier League, won the Euros with Portugal, played a lot of minutes for Southampton, played decent minutes for us when he first got here, or a kid at the back who's not coming back? I think the reality is, as much as we want Walters to be closer to the first team than he is, it's going to be Cedric. So I actually back Arteta on that call. If it is true that Walters is just not going to be coming back, or, the appearances on the bench, I mean, obviously not appearances. Like, you guys get where I'm going.
Yeah. It could also be an attitude thing, because if you think about Cedric, we can talk shit about how he plays, but the entire time he's like, I want to stay and fight for my place. So he probably works his ass off in training. He just can't help that he sucks.
I think he's well liked.
Yeah.
Like that. It seems like he's like really well liked in the squad. I think he knows he'll never make the money he's making right now on the Bosman he signed with us, so he'd be silly to leave. whether that's he's working his ass off fighting for his place or not, it sounds like he's clearly not like a disruption. Like he is a professional. He does his thing. Everyone likes him.
Definitely a likable guy. Doesn't care if he's not playing.
But he'll be ready at a moment's notice.
Exactly.
For now. But if he plays,
of course. I mean, that's yeah.
Would be the backup.
I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, we put Thomas Partey there before we play Cedric there. I mean, if it was ever fit, but Timber maybe. So
Judy and Timber.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend more time on this
Cedric. Yeah,
subject,
we gave him too much time.
Yeah, I think that's more than enough. So
bye, Cedric.
Yeah, so
he's a nice guy.
But yeah, overall, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, 6 goals. The other element is that our goal difference, it really helped quite a bit. I mean, I don't know where we sit right now, but I think we were even with City at the time and like 1 or 2 behind Liverpool before we were obviously down a significant amount. If we scored 6 and that's where we were. So, not a small thing.
We're even with City, 1 goal less than Liverpool. Obviously, City has one game less. The good thing is that it's kind of like depending on us right now. I mean, and Liverpool, but to win the league, if City gets on that top spot, if we beat them, we tie them in points, and we're could be fighting. Looking at the
as silly as it sounds, I mean, like, I hope we win the league. Don't get me wrong, but if 2nd and 3rd, if we're even with Liverpool at the end of the year, but we have goal difference, like, that's not a super, super small thing in terms of, definitely prize money, which in the world of FFP clearly makes a difference. And then I don't know what it does for like buckets when it comes to Europe and, what tier, whatever we're considered or how that goes, but kind of interesting to say the least. But Christian, I think at the end of last week, I mean, you said that when we talk about Arteta in Liverpool, you wanted ruthless. Did you get ruthless this week?
I did. That's why I don't want to say my rating yet, and I don't want to get robbed.
You also admitted that you watched All or Nothing again, and you think you like Arteta again. I'm getting
hot,
man. Getting swelled up over here.
You're getting wet.
Which is a great segue to player ratings. All right, so we'll go the back line, including David Raya. So I'll just kick it off. I gave Raya a 7, Ben White 7.5, Saliba 7.5, Gabriel 8, Kivior 7.5.
I did 8s across the board.
I gave Raya, Kiwior, and Ben White a 7, and then the 2 center backs 8.
So we're all in the same vicinity, just super slight differences. Midfield. Christian, you want to kick it off?
I think Rice was man of the match for me, so I got a 10 on him. I gave Havertz a 6, and I'm being nice. And Odegaard, I gave him a 9.
Rob?
Rice, 10, man of the match. I think I initially gave you guys, I think I said Odegaard 8, but I'm going to go Odegaard 9. And then Havertz 7.
Interesting. I was likewise Rice 10, man of the match. I don't think he can possibly play any better than he did, even though defensively he really didn't have anything to do. But again, just even if he did, we both know he would have dominated everything. Odegaard a 9. I mean, you could argue even higher. He was that good, and I think we can all agree Odegaard is really top of his game, back to his best right now. So, yeah,
he was untouchable, dude. Nobody would get close.
I mean,
he was just
can we talk about that
around
one
everybody.
Run down the right wing? Rob,
like
you're
3
like,
guys on him. Yeah, that was
3
crazy.
dudes, and he just kept feinting, shoulder feint left, shoulder feint right, shoulder feint left, shoulder feint right, and then did all of them. I mean, it was bananas. I mean, because we know he's not fast. Like, he's not slow, but he's not like speedy or.
He's not a sprinter. He's just quick.
I mean, that
quick
technique
feet.
was just. And I gave Havertz a 7.5. Like, I want to touch on this real quick.
You're
So
nice.
Christian was a 6. Rob, what did you say? 7?
7.
And I was 7.5. Christian, Havertz was fantastic. Tell me why he was only a 6.
I can't give a player more than a 6 just for getting in good position. That's what the coach does. The coach tells you to do that. Like, to me, every time he gets the ball and he just gets rid of it right away, it just
Quick.
frustrates me because it's like, why do you want to get? Why like? There's like Odegaard gets the ball. The first thing he does is like trying to get take on a defender and open space. Havertz can't do that. He's done it everywhere. But with us, I mean, his last couple of seasons at Chelsea and with us, he just doesn't do that. He doesn't have the confidence. But if you see a training video of him, he does it. Like why he doesn't do it in a game? That's what I just don't feel that he's playing like a 7. He can play as a 7, 8, 9, or 10, whatever. He's a great player. He's just like with us. He's just like he does what the coach asks. He's like, oh, you want me to be here? I'll be here. That's it. But doesn't demand more of himself. That's what I see.
I don't disagree in terms of his ability on the ball. I mean, we've seen what he's capable of, in Germany. I mean, some of the stuff he did. I mean, he operated very much in like an Odegaard role when he was there. So
at Leverkusen, he used to play all the top 4 positions. Center attacking mid, top 9, left and right, and he would score it every single game.
I mean, it's interesting because maybe that's just not the role this team needs him to play, or at least Arteta doesn't see it that way. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I mean, I think what he does off the ball is valuable enough, and the way he did it in that game to give him at least a 6.5. I mean, above. Like, he created a lot for the team. But I get what you're saying.
Like there was a play that he got the ball. He got the ball like on the right, and then Ben White was running behind him, and he was just him against the left back. He could have taken the left back, and he decided to play the ball to Ben White, kind of too tight to the end line. So when Ben White crossed it, the ball went out of bounds. He could have done a lot better. He's a lefty, He could cut and take a shot. He could definitely bury a goal from that angle easily. He just doesn't trust himself.
Because you keep doubting him, dude. He listens to the podcast.
Yeah, he told me.
He does. Listen. I love the guy. If he's an Arsenal player, I love him. But to me, he's a 6.
I think in general, I mean, we can all agree that he has not even touched what he's capable of as a player. So it's definitely frustrating. Hopefully.
Chelsea fucked them. Chelsea fucking destroyed his confidence.
They've destroyed a lot of people's confidence. But, it seems like the players love him. Like you said, he's always good in training. Like, you're the first to say how good he is in training every time. So, yeah, I mean, I hope at some point it translates to the game. I mean, I do think there's an element of, like, the way that he plays. Like, I think we're very used to, like, having, like, a Xhaka who is much more ball dominant, involved in the way when Smith Rowe came on. It was so blatant how ball dominant he was. Even Jorginho, when he played that role, on the ball and really more like incisive passing, things like that. And Kai just isn't. And I don't know if that's just his game or if he's being told to do something different, or he's just, I mean, because you can't imagine he would continue to play if he's not doing it. I mean, Arteta is a pretty ruthless dude more often than not. I mean, he clearly has a soft spot for Kai, but
I mean, he also pushed to get him for a lot of money. He's one of the highest earners in our squad. He's probably going to push him to be like worth it. He's not going to be like, we're not City. We can't buy somebody for 60 million, pay him 350.
Beating a dead horse here. You're talking about this every week.
All right, we'll move on.
True.
We'll move on. So, okay.
Maybe when he
I
listens
hope
to
so.
us, he's gonna
Him
change.
and his donkeys. He just needs more time with his donkeys. So, you guys do know he like has donkeys and is like obsessed with them. Okay, cool. I want to make sure you
Yeah.
won't look at me
Yeah.
like I had 12 heads. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, front line. Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. Rob, you go first on this one.
Saka 8, Martinelli 8. Even though he really didn't do all that much, but I mean we won 6-0. I'm gonna give him an 8, and Trossard 9. Maybe could be a 10, but I have a feeling we're gonna see more from him, so I'm gonna go 9.
Yeah, I went Saka 9, Martinelli 8, Trossard 9.
I had the same. Martinelli 8, Trossard 9, Saka 9.
I mean, all the subs I had as a 6, except for Nwaneri. I had as a 7. Maybe it's just excitement. I mean, he looked
7
so good, man. Like he looked like he could deserve actual like minutes. Like if we're hunting a goal, like I would bring him on.
I would need to see him again. We were playing a team that just did not give a fuck anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
true.
But I gave him a 7. What'd you guys give him?
I get everybody a 7, really.
I don't rate
On the
subs.
bench. But like Rob said, they give a shit. They came with like playing with fucking.
So Arteta, I gave. Yeah, it's fair.
West Ham was Johnny's.
I gave Arteta a 9.5.
Save Christian for last on this.
So I did my ratings right after the game. Like I tried to do it fresh while it's in my head and everything else. I gave a 9.5. The only reason I cut from a 10 was because of the Cedric thing. And now knowing what I know now, I am bumping him up to a 10 because I clearly got the lineup right. They were phenomenal. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of choice in it, but he very easily could have played Eddie up top and not Trossard. So I was so happy to see that he finally gave Leo a chance at the 9 because I thought he was phenomenal last season when he did it. I thought he got everything on point. He took guys off at the right time in the second half. Saka did not play 90 minutes. I thought he got everything bang on 100%. I'll stop there.
Yeah, 10 for me. I echo what you said. I also think, too, it's easy to come out when you're up 4-0 at halftime and kind of just like, oh, we're just going to like lull about now. And Arteta, he's yelling at guys for the little tiny mistakes they're making at halftime, even though we're up 4-0. 10.
Yeah.
And the part we've all been waiting for.
I actually gave him a 5. I gave him a 10.
Love it.
He did everything. Everything that we've been asking for the whole season. Good game plan. Good, subs. Bringing youngsters. Resting Saka. Resting Ben White. And they had 0 chances. Like, their game plan and the game management was great. And he didn't wait until the 80th fucking minute to do changes. He actually did them in the 67th minute and in the 77th minute.
Proud. Very proud.
So, yeah. Rob,
proud dad
you're allowed
here.
to get wet now.
I'm surprised Rob's not crying. Anyways, so moving on to the next game, Burnley. Should we do some lineups?
Yeah.
I am keeping everything the same. I'm keeping everything
available?
the same, except assuming Tomiyasu is available, I'm putting him at left back.
I would agree with you. I would love to say ESR, but I think against a low block, I want Havertz's big, dumb body in that box. And then, Tomiyasu, I think, too, just to shore up the defense even more. But I wouldn't be surprised if Yeah, he's
Is
back.
Tomiyasu back?
Yeah, he's back. So the Arteta said he came back with like a little niggle
God.
after that. So he just like didn't really want to risk him. Was the vibe. I mean, he played in whatnot for Japan, so like I'm not
Every
I'm not
single
too
game.
worried, honestly. I think and clearly it was the right decision. I mean, we won 6-0. So
Plays a center
yeah,
back,
he plays
though.
left center back for is it left or right? I mean, he plays one of the center backs. I forget. I mean,
You can do it all, baby.
yeah, literally he can do it all, so it's
Yeah.
irrelevant. But yeah, I would like to see Tomiyasu back in at left back, and that's nothing against Kivior. You know, I said briefly, and to go back to it, that Ben White inverted a few times on the right. I think the problem with that is it leaves. I love that from the degree that Kivior then tucks into like a left center back and a back three, which is great. I just think from a build-up perspective, the only negative about Ben White tucking into the midfield is that Saliba is wide right and Gabriel's in the middle. And I think from a build-up perspective, you'd rather flip that if you could. And I think Gabriel's very capable. And also Saliba did when he was on loan at Marseille. What was it, 2 years ago? He played right back, like actually in like a shocking amount of games. And he did pretty well getting up and down. But I mean, we all know that Saliba's distribution is just by far the best from the back line. And that's nothing against Gabriel. He's still very good at it. It's just, why are you putting, Saliba as kind of the right center back, Gabriel in the middle, and Kivior at the left center back in that case, if you don't have to. So I think there's workarounds to it, but
I have a thought.
Okay.
I'm going to change my lineup. If Zinchenko's fit, I think we start Zinchenko at left back and Tomiyasu starts at right back, and Ben White can rest and get healthy.
So he's just going to come on when one of them gets injured.
Maybe, but I don't know. I just want Ben White to be healthy when we play City and Spurs and teams like that.
Yeah. It's tough because, like, on one hand, like, again, you expect a Burnley, at least I expect them to sit back more. So, like, I'm kind of like, okay, that's the game you play Zinchenko, and you have him come into midfield because we don't need all four guys at the back. So that's a perfect Zinchenko game. On the flip side, it's like, yeah, that one stupid moment where he falls asleep and they play the diagonal ball is the one where we're going to get scored on, and it's going to be the same thing Rob feared.
You know they're gonna go
isn't that,
for the counterattack.
Isn't Koleosho
go
on that
for the
side?
counterattack, and that's the spot they're gonna go.
They're the right back who he has dual
idea.
Italian and U.S. citizenship, so the U.S. is really going after him, I guess. I mean,
I have no idea.
He's good.
I can't name a single player on Burnley, if I'm being completely honest.
Let's see. Let's take a look at Burnley.
Vincent Kompany is the only one I know.
All right, we're gonna look at Burnley before we wrap it up. Who the hell is on Burnley? Okay.
I really haven't watched Burnley play much this year either. So
they have the David Datra Fofana from Chelsea, one of the like 76 guys they signed and then had to loan. Sanderberg is in midfield. We were linked with him a bunch. What was it? Aaron Ramsey, not the Aaron Ramsey, but the other Aaron Ramsey who was on Villa for a bit, if I recall, and he kept getting loaned out. Yeah, he's a decent player.
He's good.
In the back, they have that James Trafford, the keeper they signed from City. He was like their like reserve keeper. He's like 20 years old when they signed him. He's now 21 because that's how it works. But he has done really, really well. It was like a random academy guy, and they're like, "You got 20 million for him?"
Whoa, they got Jay Rodriguez. They got Jay Rodriguez from Southampton. Remember that?
I remember Jay Rodriguez very well.
He used to give me a lot of points on my fantasy.
So old now, I figure, or he's just so injured and old and everything else. But yeah, Luka. Oh, Koleosho's hurt. Damn.
Let's go. Whatever that means.
He's good, so that's good for us. So, Nathan Redmond, who's also hurt. Nice. Nathan Redmond was a pain for us when he was at Southampton too. Yeah.
Southampton too.
All right. Parting thoughts. Who wants to go first?
I will say I think we go on an absolute fucking rip to end the season. I'm going to go 3-0 win for Burnley. Another Arteta masterclass. And Christian's love continues to grow for that man.
Christian?
I think I'm gonna go with a 1-3.
Wait, us or
Just
them?
because I'm not getting agree with Rob.
Yeah, we're away.
1-3. We're away, right?
So, I think we win 3-0, or since Christian likes to be really popular, 0-3. Oh, wait, no, sorry. 4-0.
Oh,
I think we win
okay.
4-0.
Love it.
I think we keep. I mean, these are the games. Like, you look
Four.
at the next 5. Like, we need to be winning these next 5. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all unbelievably winnable games, in my opinion. I'm not saying they're easy.
What's
Newcastle,
crazy is
too. Newcastle's
if
gonna
we
park
win
the
out and
bus.
City wins out, but we beat City,
They
it could come
always
down to
do.
goal differential. So we need to pile goals on everyone.
Yeah, we're never losing.
Like, how
again.
crazy that would be if the end of the season, like, we're tied on points with City and it came down to goal differential. And you know who's going to score that goal that's going to send us to the top? Fucking Smith Rowe will.
No, I thought for sure you were saying Kai Havertz.
Or he
Kai
might, dude.
Havertz
If he
screaming.
does, I will literally cry if it's Havertz. I would love that.
I was so excited for like what you were gonna say. Like,
I'll take a Havertz goal against City to win it.
Mm.
Hell, I'll take a fucking Cedric goal against City.
if
Want to make a
Cedric
bet on that, Christian?
if Cedric scores the winner against Manchester City,
Uh-huh.
I will get his name tattooed on my right ass cheek.
That's a hot name to get tattooed on your ass, Cedric.
Fucking hope that happens.
Sounds like you're a prison lover.
Just said it in the
Yeah,
podcast.
you can't back out now. This is on the internet forever.
Yeah, the thousands
yeah.
of people will demand that I get my tat. So,
We should clip
We're
that
gonna
and put it
clip
online.
that and we're gonna put it.
fair,
Yeah.
do it. Cedric
Reels,
tattoo,
baby.
right ass cheek.
What do you got? Burnley, Porto, Newcastle, Sheffield, Brentford.
And hopefully
Porto,
we
Chelsea.
have a live
and Man
in-person podcast in London, one of those games.
That'd be good.
That'd
be
be
cool.
sick.
I'd be good with that.
Think we should go to the Chelsea game or the Luton game.
Also, I'm still wearing the same kit because we keep.
You're going to be
Winning.
wearing that kit in London, dude. It's going to smell.
It's like it was hanging up and it's like kind of wrinkly now because like it's just sitting and it definitely probably has to smell. But it's good. It's not like I wear it all day every day. It's only when we watch the games and I put it on for the podcast.
yeah, but when we talk about Arteta, we both kind of get hot and sweaty, so.
That's the other thing. So, well, we talked about Cedric, so this thing is soaked. Well, on that note, good 6-0 victory against the Hammers. We hammered the Hammers, put that one to bed. Saka put his penalty against West Ham to bed, and I think that's all we got. So thanks again for listening. As always, Christian loves Mikel Arteta, and Robin Van Persie's a snake. We'll see you next time.
Arteta in.
Love him. Love him. Love him.